So the first session I'm going to discuss is WLAN history. This is the objective. Upon completion of this course, you will be able to describe the basic knowledge about WLAN, WLAN development, and list WLAN application scenarios. The content here include the introduction to WLAN, what is WLAN, development, and typical application. So the WLAN actually started at the World War II, when the US Army used the radio signal for the data transmission. At the year 1971, researchers in Hawaii University invented the first radio network, and they call this as the Aloha Net. Okay, this is based on the encapsulation technology. When the years come to the 1990, the IEEE started the 802.11 project, and they formulated many standards for the WLAN. Okay, so they're using the different standard to control the different modulation. So this is the way how they actually speed up the wireless speed. So after the 2003, as the WLAN market developed, the technology such as Wi-Fi, CDMA, 3G, LTE, Bluetooth, and many other more. So it's become more and more popular. So for WLAN, we can able to classification into the 4 different types. So for the first one, we'll call this as the WPAN. Okay, stand for the Wireless Personal Area Network. So this network, they only can cover up to the 10 meter. So those technology can able to use in this area. Mostly is those infrared or Bluetooth. Then the next one is WLAN, Wireless Local Area Network. So this wireless coverage can up to 100 meter. So many for those technology we call as Wi-Fi. Then the next we have WLAN, Wireless Metro Area Network. So this one is actually referred to the WiMAX carrier that we're using right now. And the last one, WLAN, Wireless Wide Area Network. So this one is referred to those technology like 2G, 3G, or LTE. So this is some of the example device to be used for all the wireless technology. So we have the infrared receiver, the Bluetooth headset, the radio frequency phone, and also the mobile phone. Then the next one, what is WLAN? So WLAN is combined computer network and the radio communication technology. So here giving the picture showing the difference between the modem, ADSL, WLAN, and also the 3G network. So as you can see from here, when compared between the modem and the ADSL, okay, or we can call it as a LAN, so both of them have the same mobility. Okay, they actually have the same level mobility. But when you compare to the bandwidth, so the ADSL or the LAN giving more bandwidth when you're comparing with the modem. Then the next one, the LAN compared with WLAN. WLAN right now can able to give us even more bandwidth, and mobility is higher than the LAN. Then the last one here is the 3G, 2G when comparing to the WLAN. So compared to the only the mobility, of course, 2G, 3G will be better coverage distance when deal with the WLAN. So here they have another questions. What is the relationship between Wi-Fi and WLAN? So, and here this is the answer. Wi-Fi is a WLAN in compliance with 802.11 standard. So this table is showing all the different versions of the Wi-Fi standard. So the very first Wi-Fi is a 802.11, and it started at the years 1997. So currently for this version, it's only can work in the frequency band 2.4 GHz. The maximum rate can go up to 2 meg. That's the maximum speed. So when go to the years 1999, so they finally developed that they have two different new versions for the Wi-Fi, which is A and B. And they found out in the 5 GHz, they can able to increase the bandwidth the accessing they're using. So this is the 802.11a. Okay, they can operate in the frequency band 5 GHz. So with this frequency, they can get the rate up to 54 meg. The B is at 11 meg. When it comes to the years 2003, so they're going to improve the 802.11b to have a greater speed. So they're using the better modulation way to increase the speed of the 802.11b standard. So now in the G, they can hit up to 54 megabit per second. The next one, 802.11n. So this is created on 2009. So this standard can be used in two different frequency bands, 2.4 or 5 GHz. So with 802.11n, they have another latest modulation technology can able to achieve the speed up to 600 megabit per second. And lastly, we have the AC wave 1 and the wave 2. So these two, they can able to give us the speed easily up to 1.3 gigabit per second. For the wave 2, we can get 3.47 gigabit per second. Content number 3, WLAN development. So from a picture here, you can able to see they have 3 different generations for WLAN. So the first generation, we have 802.11b. So this is using the single radio module, and it only can work in a 2.4 gigahertz. The speed for this standard can only up to 11 meg, and they only support WEP encryption. For the second generation, they have the 11A and G. So for these two standard, they're using a different type of the modulation. They start to support the OFDM modulation. So with this technology, they can enhance their throughput and the bandwidth. So this is the reason why they can get 54 megabit per second. And they started to support QoS WPA 2.0 with the better security protections for all the data. And the last, we have the third generation WLAN. So the third generation WLAN, we are actually using the 802.11n. So this one supports the multi-radio module, high bandwidth and a wide range coverage. So they also can combine with the WiMAX 3G. It's used the MAX networking to provide the high security. So WLAN have the following advantage when compared with the wire network. So the first one, mobility. So the mobility is because when we still using the wire network, we'll notice actually we have some of the limitation when we want to move around with the connection, the LAN cable. So you only can stay still at the same area to access to the network. But with the Wi-Fi, yes, you doesn't need to stay at the same place. Flexibility. So for the traditional, the cabling, so you need to have the proper the blueprint, okay, the network design before you actually want to deploy all the switches and the device. Okay, so you have to do the proper cabling for the LAN connections. But for the wireless, it doesn't need to worry so much about that because the wireless can easy for you to do the connection from anywhere. Scalability. So the scalability is easy for us to do the expand. So we no need to buy another new switch or more cable to perform the connection. So we can just using the wireless to form the wireless link. Like example, we can perform some technology like WDS, point-to-point, full mesh connection, or it's just wireless connection without any cable. So, and the last one will be the economicalness. Okay, so this one can able to save a lot of cost, so no need to spend too much the costing to on the device, like purchasing the switch and the cable. And the last, typical application. So WLAN provide more flexible networking to improve the working efficient. Like the first example, the stadium news center. The news center for the stadium, they actually rely on the wireless to form the broadcasting. Okay, especially for those of the live broadcasting. So the using the wireless is more flexible for the camera or for those of the recording. And the next one, exhibition and security hall. So they can doing some monitoring and also can provide some free Wi-Fi access for the guests, for those who actually visit to the mall. Manufacturing workshop. So this is for those of the monitoring and the remote control here. And the last, the logistic. So this is very simple. So this is just for the long distance communication, and also can do the wireless remote control. So WLAN also provide the user with the real-time and the free internet access at any places. So I believe everyone in some of the open space, like you at a public area, you notice we also can get some free Wi-Fi access. Okay, this is not only fixed to the office building. Of course, when we go to visit some other the office building, so they will always create some free Wi-Fi access for us to connect. And also same to the airport. Okay, airport they also will give some the free Wi-Fi access, sitting spot and the coffee shop. So this is summary. So I already do some brief for the introduction to the WLAN, and some of the what is the meaning of WLAN development, and the last one is the typical application, which is the area that we actually go into using the wireless.